Hi, I'm Jennifer Morris for Howdini. So if heart disease runs in your family, what can you do to sort of counter your genetic makeup? I mean, how soon is too soon to start worrying about heart disease for your kids? These are just a couple questions we have for Elizabeth Sommer, registered dietitian and author of 9 popular nutrition books. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, nice to be here.
It's great to have you. How much of heart health is genetic?
Well, that's a tough question to really answer. 1 out of 2 Americans will die from heart disease.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It is.
In fact, you said, you know, if you have heart disease in your family, it doesn't matter whether you have heart disease in your family or not, you're at risk in this culture. Because heart disease is what's called a disease of civilization. It's found primarily in cultures that eat diets like we do and don't move enough. In cultures where people are vigorously active and eat primarily a natural, more hunter-gatherer-like diet, heart disease is non-existent. Those people then migrate to the United States, and in 1 generation they are having the heart disease at the same rate we are. So it's more to do with, a whole lot more to do with lifestyle than it is to do with genetics. Although some people are more prone to it and have to be a little bit more vigorous in how they take care of themselves.
Who is at risk for heart disease?
All of us. Okay, next question. No, I'm sorry. And what we're finding in the United States and Canada and even most countries in Europe is that heart disease rates are not only going up, but we're seeing risk factors for them at younger and younger ages, as young as 9 years old now.
Wow.
And that's because of the pediatric obesity epidemic in this country. We're seeing children now that have elevated cholesterol levels, elevated blood sugar levels that are going to predispose them to diabetes, which is a huge risk factor for heart disease. We're seeing blood pressure values in younger and younger kids. So it's really an issue that we need to be addressing from birth on.
Now, what role can we play in protecting ourselves from heart disease?
Well,
what can we do? We got to be able to do something.
Yeah, I know, this is the
we created
news.
it.
This is the good news. I love heart disease. Because there's literally something you can do about it. In fact, 1 out of every 2 people with heart disease can prevent it with just making a few simple changes in how they eat, how much they move, for instance. In fact, even me, you think, okay, she takes care of herself, she's a dietitian. When I went through menopause, my blood cholesterol skyrocketed. And I already take pretty good care of myself, but with a few little extra changes, I brought it right back down to the levels that it should be, and so my risk remains low. So your 2 main things that you're going to want to look at is how much do you exercise and what's on the plate, because those 2 will determine your waist, and it's your waist measurement, how overweight you are, that's going to determine your risk for heart disease.
What did you do to bring down your cholesterol?
Well, I looked at some of the studies that have been done. For instance, there's been several studies from the University of Toronto where they have put people on diets that were loaded with fruits and vegetables and a lot more soy and whole grains, and they got a cholesterol lowering effect that was equal to putting someone on a statin medication, which are some of the most popular cholesterol lowering medications right now. So I already was eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, but I got a little bit feistier about that and started making my salads a little bit bigger, doubling my serving of broccoli at night instead of just having the half cup. I now have a cup. And I started adding a little bit more soy and cutting back on the red meats and some of the, you know, even though they were extra lean, I have maybe 1 or 2 servings of red meat a week now instead of more than that. And within just a matter of a few weeks, my cholesterol levels started to go down. What you want is a low cholesterol. You want a total cholesterol that's under 200. And if you're a woman, the HDL, the good cholesterol, is super important. You want that to be at least 60 or more. And with just making those few changes, I got that. I got a cholesterol under 200 and HDL's well above 60.
What type of physical activities do you recommend?
You got to walk or do some kind of aerobic activity, whether it's, and it can't be just, you know, mild walking. It's got to be a brisk walk. That
you want to break a sweat?
You want to break a sweat. You want to get that heart rate up.
Yeah.
You want to burn fat is what you want to do. And those exercises are called, whether it's bicycling or walking or aerobic dance classes or cross-country skiing or snowshoeing. They're called aerobic or cardiovascular exercise because they are the very things that will strengthen your cardiovascular system and help to lower your cholesterol levels, increasing or reducing your risk for heart disease and just helping you to lose weight as well.
How soon should parents start talking about prevention for their kids for heart disease?
Well, you set your child's eating habits almost for life in those early years. So the more you can start establishing heart-healthy eating habits from day 1, you know, when they're off the breast and onto the food, it should be fruits, vegetables, lean meats. You should model the behavior at the dinner table, because what they learn in those early years will set the pattern for how they'll eat for the rest of their life. And of course, monitor their weight gain very closely, because it's a lot harder to lose the weight than it is to never have gained it in the first place.
So it's never too soon to get started,
It's
really.
never too soon.
Thank you so much. Great advice. Elizabeth Sommer. I'm Jennifer Morris for Howdini.